Hi, I'm Political Hil, and you're watching On the Hill with Political Hil. On the Hill with Political Hil is a media outlet program designed to present a forum on the topics of politics, social issues, education, and community awareness. Now tune in with your host, Political Hil. Hi, thanks for tuning in to On the Hill with Political Hil. I'm your host, Political Hil. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'd like to say you didn't have to do it, but you did it anyway. So thank you. I would like to take a minute to introduce to you On the Hill with Political Hil. I'm Political Hil. And On the Hill with Political Hil is a show that brings light to political issues or political discussion. And so therefore I'd like to open up the floor to anyone that has a political issue of concern that you'd like to address. On the Hill with Political Hil discusses all the issues within the political realm, such as education, crime, the economy, jobs, socio-economic issues, social issues, justice issues. And so I particularly want to open up the forum to political issues that pertain to Atlanta, the city of Atlanta, and the state of Georgia, given that this television outlet pretty much focuses on the city of Atlanta and the Atlanta metro area. So would like to put that out there to the world. I can be reached at politicalhil1@gmail.com. That's POLITICALHIL, the number 1@gmail.com. And so I'd like to open up the floor to anyone that has a political topic of interest. I like to call myself a community leader, one who likes to bring light to issues and help give a voice to those people that feel as if they do not have a voice. So therefore, On the Hill with Political Hil is a political forum show to discuss political issues. And so once again, I like to invite you, the viewer, or anyone watching who has a issue of interest that they would like the world to know about. So please feel free to email me at politicalhil1@gmail.com. And so for me, I'm pretty passionate about politics. I'm passionate about several issues. I have opinions on many different things. And so I'd like to know other people's opinions on these particular topics, such as education, crime, transportation, all kinds of things, and as they particularly pertain to the city of Atlanta. And so I love Atlanta. Atlanta is an awesome city, and it has some great things to offer. And for all the great things that they have to offer, there are also some things that are of concern here in the city of Atlanta. Several issues of concern. Just for starters, we could talk about homelessness.
Hey guys, this is my teenage friend Fred.
Rad! Hey pal, you want to pay attention to the road?
Relax, man, I got it.
Look, my man, if your bad driving gets me killed, you better hope you die too, or I will haunt you silly. And I'm not just gonna float over your bed like, woo! I'm gonna be making a more annoying noise, like, ah! And instead of wearing those long white robes, I think I'll wear something more form-fitting and upsetting. The other ghosts will look and be like, wow, we've never seen that before.
Thank you for tuning in to On the Hill with Political Hil. I'm your host, Political Hil. Thanks for tuning in. You didn't have to do it, but you did it anyway. And for that, I thank you. I would like to take a moment to basically introduce to you On the Hill with Political Hil. It's basically a political forum show in which people will come on and talk about political issues or topics of concern to them, or issues that they would just like to shed light on. That are of political interest. So if you have a political concern or let's say for even maybe you're running for office, or you have some kind of social awareness or political campaign that you would like to share with the Atlanta or Atlanta metro area, then please feel free to email me and reach out to me at politicalhil1@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you, as well as have you featured on the show On the Hill with Political Hil. So, On the Hill with Political Hil is going to be a show where we talk about all kinds of issues, from education to crime to business, talking about the economy, talking about traffic, talking about social concerns, justice issues, even homelessness. Then I would like to have you here on the show to discuss those things, even as far as health issues, health concerns, as it pertains to the city of Atlanta metro area. So please feel free to reach out. One thing I'd like to start talking about is homelessness. Homelessness here in Atlanta is an issue. If you've ever been to the Atlanta area or the city of Atlanta, then I am sure you have witnessed firsthand homelessness. From my understanding and doing my research, there are about 7,000 individuals that are homeless here in the city of Atlanta. That's a pretty high number. I mean, I feel no one should be homeless, and it's definitely a social issue. So if you have let's say for example, you have a initiative to help eradicate homelessness, then I would love to hear from you. If you have an idea on how to help solve the issue of homelessness here in Atlanta, then I would love to hear from you. So even if you represent an organization that was created, if you have an organization that was created to help eradicate homelessness, I would like to hear from you as well. On the statistics of homelessness, once again, there are about 7,000 individuals that are homeless here in the city of Atlanta. And the demographic of these individuals that are homeless is mainly male, African-American males in their 30s. And one thing that I've learned in going out with some friends, some friends and I, we've gone on several occasions. We try to make it a habit to go out and feed the homeless. We believe that every little bit counts. And so probably about once every 2 months, we go out, we deliver sandwiches, we deliver water, we deliver toiletries, shaving cream, tissues, just trying to give back in every way we can. And so in going out, even one year we went out and fed the homeless during Thanksgiving. And in going out and being among the people, sharing the love and the wealth, we find that a lot of these individuals are veterans as well. Also, in doing my research, I found that a lot of individuals that are homeless, they also have a mental illness. And so, therefore, if you have a concern with mental illness and you'd like to maybe share a story or shed light on a particular mental illness that you'd like people to be more aware of, please feel free to reach out to me, Political Hil, at politicalhil1@gmail.com, and I would love to have you on the show and help give a voice to your platform. On the Hill with Political Hil is also a way for those that have strong opinions on certain issues. This is your soapbox. Sometimes just having that tea on the porch and talking about political issues, sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes people want a broader voice for their opinions to be heard. And so I would invite you in to On the Hill with Political Hil as well. So once again, thank you for tuning in to On the Hill with Political Hil. I'm your host, Political Hil. Stay tuned. There's some awesome things to come.
Good. Again. You.
Once it was against the law in some states to teach a black child to read or write. But the law didn't stop them from learning, and the law didn't change till 1863. For the past 30 years, the United Negro College Fund has helped 500,000 black students change the course of their lives at UNCF colleges. Thousands have become doctors, engineers, and teachers, perhaps changing the course of your life. But today, there just isn't enough money. And tomorrow...
We're sorry,
but this course has been canceled.
Please, don't let this happen. Support the United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
This is Sarah Watkins. A lot of people almost helped her. One almost cooked for her. Another almost drove her to the doctor. Still another almost stopped by to say hello. They almost helped. They almost gave of themselves. But almost giving is the same as not giving at all.
On the Hill with Political Hil is a media outlet program designed to present a forum on the topics of politics, social issues, education, and community awareness. Now tune in with your host, Political Hil. And welcome back to On the Hill with Political Hil. I'm your host, Political Hil. Thank you for tuning in. You didn't have to do it, but you did it anyway. And for that, I thank you. Once again, going on into the introduction of On the Hill with Political Hil, there's so many topics that fall under politics. And so I would like to hear from you. If you'd like to be on my show, please reach out to me at politicalhil1@gmail.com. I'd love to have you on the show and help give you a broader light on enlightening others about your topic of concern. Some topics that are of interest to me are education. I'm real big on education. I have sometimes mixed feelings on education, but I do believe that education is the key to success. And sometimes education is more, or sometimes education is not always going to school. So I also believe in the school of hard knocks, the school of experiences, the school of life. And so being educated is very broad, and it includes more than just going to a educational institution. So if you have some concerns within the educational realm, please reach out to me, and I'd love to discuss with you some topics within education, such as school safety. Are our schools safe? Such as school nutrition. Are the foods that are being fed to our children in schools, are they the most nutritious? Are those the best things that they could be eating, given that those are our tax dollars that feed them as well? Also, on the concern of school safety, I know a lot of times when people think of school safety, they think of school violence. Yes, that's under the realm of safety, but what about industrial hazards? Are our schools really safe? Are the lights in our schools safe? As far as the lights, let me just talk about that real quick. Why I wonder, are the lights in our schools safe? I remember being young, noticing that certain papers on the wall would discolor throughout the school year as they were hung up on the walls. And so it just makes me wonder, are those lights safe? Are they safe for our eyes? Are they safe for our skin? If they'll discolor paper, I mean, what could it do to us over prolonged periods of time? Also, other industrial hazards within schools, such as molds. We've known of several schools having mold spores airborne and getting young people sick, as well as the people that work within the school. So do you think that schools are safe, both industrially and as far as physical safety? Are our schools safe? I would love to hear from you. Reach out to me at politicalhil1@gmail.com, and we'd love to have a discussion about education and the safety of our schools. Also within education, are our schools achieving? Are our students excelling? There's so many realms within education, and so I would love to hear from you. As far as education is concerned, I want to say Georgia ranks 38 out of the 50 states in education. So that's relatively low on the totem pole. So maybe you have your reasonings for why Georgia ranks so low within the 50 states in education. Maybe you have a voice on ways to increase our maybe you have a voice on how to increase our graduation rate. Right now, Georgia is at about an 84% graduation rate. Now that's not too bad, but still considering that Georgia ranks 38 of the 50 states, then that must be relatively low. Also, it's interesting knowing that Georgia also has one of the best educational school systems in the nation. From my understanding, Gwinnett County ranks about 3rd within the nation of the top, no, excuse me, let me take that back. From my understanding, Georgia has one of the best educational school systems in the nation. In doing my research, I found that there is one school in Gwinnett County that ranks 3rd of all the schools within the nation. That's highly commendable. So I would like to hear from someone who maybe can explain the discrepancies in these educational statistics concerning Georgia. So once again, you can reach out to me, politicalhil1@gmail.com. So that's just a few topics within education that can be discussed. Once again, there's another topic about, do teachers get paid enough? Are they getting paid too much? That's worth a discussion as well. So I'd love to hear from you because, I don't really care to sit here and have a conversation with myself. I would love to interface with you. I would love to hear from you. And so please make sure you reach out to me. There are other issues of concern that we can talk about. Ironically, we were just talking about homelessness. Homelessness is big in the city of Atlanta, but what's also big in Atlanta is business. Business is big in Atlanta. And speaking of big businesses, there are several Fortune 500 companies that are headquartered right here in Atlanta, Georgia. You have AT&T, Georgia Pacific. You can't forget Coca-Cola. You got Home Depot. You have Home Depot. You have Delta Airlines, Chick-fil-A, even Waffle House. Those are just a few big companies that are headquartered right here in Atlanta. And so the irony of it is, for there to be such big business taking place in such a flow of the economy here in Atlanta, why do we have such an issue with homelessness? So I'd love to hear from someone who can kind of help, bridge the gap in the knowledge of understanding between homelessness and big business here in Atlanta. So I'd love to hear from you. Also, too, like I said, there's so many topics of discussion that we could talk about. Another thing that comes to mind when people just mention Atlanta, Georgia, a lot of people become alarmed and they begin to show concern about the crime that takes place here in Atlanta, Georgia. And so I'd like to hear from anyone out there that has maybe stories about crime, good stories, bad stories, maybe even solutions to the crimes that take place throughout different places in the city. If you've been following the news right now, people have been crying out in the DeKalb County area about an increase in crime. From my understanding, there are some places in Buckhead that are seeing an increased incidence of crime. There are places in Midtown that are showing increased incidents of crime. And so citizens are reaching out and they're making note of their plight. And so I'd like to hear more about those who have verse on crime in the city of Atlanta. When you turn on the television, you're constantly seeing incidences of crime, people being killed for drug-related issues, people being killed in murder-suicide issues. So, what, if any, solutions are there to crime in Atlanta? And even though, Atlanta's a great city, it also ranks high in one of the worst cities for crime. It ranks, from one of the polls that I saw, it ranks number 6 in the nation, behind cities like Detroit and behind cities like Oakland. Atlanta is high up there on the list of some of the most crime-ridden / dangerous cities in America. So I'd like to hear from, people who are versed in that subject. Also, when it comes to, when we talk about crime, we can talk about not only crime that people might experience out in their homes, in their communities, but we can also talk about crime that takes place within our government. If you've been watching or reading up on the issues politically today, then you'll find that there are several issues of concern when it comes to political corruption, not only in the city of Atlanta, but also within DeKalb County. And so I'd love to hear from someone who just wants to talk about maybe ways to eradicate governmental corruption, or who has some stories. I'd love to hear from you. So please feel free to reach out to me at my email address, which is politicalhil1@gmail.com. And so I thank you so much for tuning in. I'd love to hear from you. I can't wait to have you on the show. I want to give you a voice on your political concern or your social issue that you'd like to address. So stay tuned. There's more to come. Thanks for tuning in. You didn't have to do it, but you did it anyway. And I thank you.
Is there anyone out there who still isn't clear about what doing drugs does? Okay, last time. This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Hi, I'm Political Hil, and you're watching On the Hill with Political Hil.
Only you.
Can prevent forest fire.
And it's true. We know we can count on you to do what Smoky says.
Drown your campfires with water. Make sure it's totally wet. Then stir and drown again.
We know we can count on you to do what Smoky says.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
On the Hill with Political Hil is a media outlet program designed to present a forum on the topics of politics, social issues, education, and community awareness. Now tune in with your host, Political Hil. Hi, and thanks for tuning in to On the Hill with Political Hil. I'm your host, Political Hil. Thanks for tuning in. You didn't have to do it, but you did it anyway. And for that, I thank you. So once again, we're still on a topic of discussion, more or less an introduction to On the Hill, Political Hil. And I would like to go back and piggyback on the whole issue of political corruption here in the Atlanta metro area. There's corruption that's been taking place in DeKalb County recently within the news, and historically, from my understanding, there has been a little bit of corruption that's taken place within Fulton County, City of Atlanta government. So if you have any, intel or any experiences that you'd like to bring out forward about political corruption within the Atlanta area, we'd love to hear from you. Also, too, if you happen to be a political official and you'd like to defend your case, you'd like to come on and say, hey, I recognize that there's corruption going on with our government, but you'd like to defend your case and saying, hey, I'm here for the people. You don't have to worry about me engaging in unethical issues or unethical actions that would put the constituents at risk or even one's political seat at risk. So if you're a political candidate or if you are someone who holds a political officiant seat right now, I'd love to hear from you as well. Please reach out to me. My email address is politicalhil1@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. The city would love to hear from you. So love to have you come on and we just talk about some your platform and anything you'd like the public to know. So yeah, I'm really excited. I hope you guys are excited because I believe that this is something new. This is something that's needed. We need more shows out there that bring light to issues that pertain directly to the people. that watch television. And so, yes, I understand that television is a form of entertainment, and a lot of people seek television as a form of entertainment, a way of escape. But for me, I'd like to use television as a way to keep people in touch with reality and to help them just think on different levels and to think about some of the images that they see on television and how they actually directly impact their own individual lives. So just really excited. There are a lot of things we could talk about. Most people in the Atlanta area, I'm sure at some point or another, they have experienced traffic. Whether you take public transportation or whether you drive your own personal vehicle, I'm sure at some point in time you have witnessed the madness of traffic that can happen here in Atlanta. So if you want to talk about a story, if you would like to share a story that you've had concerning traffic, or if you have solutions on how to solve some of these traffic issues, I'd love to hear from you. So please reach out to me on the Hill, Political Hil. I'm your host, Political Hil, and you can reach out to me by email, politicalhil1@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. You know, so many people sit in their cars and they rant and they rave and they're just so indignant about the traffic. They're ready to get home. They've spent a long day at work. They're ready to see their kids. They're hungry. They're hot. Whatever the case is, I'd love to hear from you. I know Department of Transportation has been working tirelessly on ways to solve these issues, but for some people, they're not moving fast enough. So if you'd like to reach out and have your voice heard and share your feelings, your thoughts, your concerns, or even some strategies about Atlanta's traffic, please feel free to reach out. Also, too, just want to remind you, thank you for tuning in. You didn't have to do it, but you did it anyway, and for that, I thank you. Just want to give a quick acknowledgement to People TV. That's the form in which I'm able to speak with you at the moment. And so if anyone has the compassion, has the heart to support public access television, please make sure you visit the website, peopletv.org, and just take a look and see ways in which you can get involved, ways in which you can contribute, because it's stations like People TV that give me a voice, and in turn I'm allowed to give you a voice. And so it's basically a cycle of support in which we're supporting each other. So please find it in your heart, find ways to support. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Political Hil, and you're watching On the Hill with Political Hil. Hi, I'm Political Hil. Thanks for watching On the Hill with Political Hil. You didn't have to do it, but you did it anyway, and for that, I thank you.